A very good morning to all of you class 8. Welcome back to this recorded class. In today's class we will read the lesson The Selfish Giant, which is taken from your English supplementary reader. Now I would want all of you to please go through this lesson. I will do a reading of this lesson and give you a quick summary of it. Okay, but very important that all of you go through this lesson. The learning outcome of our class should be students should understand the lesson and know its meaning. You should read the lesson with correct pronunciation, stress, intonation and articulation of voice. Articulation of voice means the up and rise of your voice when you do a reading. Intonation means you need to give emotion, intonate your voice according to what you're reading, and stress means putting a right stress in the right place. Then one more learning outcome is to express the ideas of the lesson orally and in writing. So this is going to be the learning outcome, the learning objective of our lesson today. The moral of this lesson is understand the importance of kindness and care. The moral is we need to understand the importance of kindness and care. So children, let us read the lesson. This lesson, the author of this lesson, this story is Oscar Wilde. In full name, Oscar Fingal O'Flaherty Wills Wilde. Okay, it sounds like a tongue twister. He was born on October 16, 1854, Dublin, Ireland. He died on November 30, 1900, Paris and in France. Some of his notable works are The Prince of Dorian Gray, and on his comic masterpieces Lady Windermere's Fan and The Importance of Being Earnest. This remains one of the very important, very famous work of Oscar Wilde. Now he was a poet and a writer. He was Irish. He was an Irish man, and this lesson, The Selfish Giant, it is taken from a collection of stories, The Happy Prince and Other Tales. This was published. This is the name of his book or collection of work from which this story has been taken, The Selfish Giant. Okay, so if you want to take more information about the writer, you can visit this Britannica, Encyclopedia Britannica, and there is a lot of details given about the author, about where he was born, and what are his masterpieces, what are his works, and about his childhood, about his parents. So if you are given to a character sketch of the author, then you can visit Encyclopedia Britannica. This is a very reliable source. Okay, and I also collect my information from this website. So this is about the author, and let us look at the lesson today. The lesson here is I will give a reading and explanation of the lesson. I would request all of you to please take out your textbooks and do the reading yourself. Very important that you read the lesson, because just me reading the lesson will not be sufficient. Selfish giant. We all know the meaning of selfish. It means somebody who is inconsiderate or who is not thoughtful about others' need, who thinks only, whose only motive or is only the only person he thinks about is himself or herself. Okay, what would I say, a very unthoughtful person, inconsiderate to others' needs. Okay, self-centered, that is a selfish person. We will describe a selfish person in these words. So a giant, we all know, giant is like in many stories we hear about giants who are of huge size, and they are scary, they are ugly, right? So this is what we have read about giants in many stories. So let us read this lesson. Giant's garden was beautiful and children loved to play in it. The giant, who was selfish, built a high wall around his lovely garden. Children did not enter the garden thereafter, nor did spring and summer till the giant experienced a change of heart. So this is the first part. Your lesson is in the first part we are going to read about this, and in your lesson is divided into two parts, right? Your lesson is divided into two parts. So in the first part we will read about the giant's garden and his beautiful garden and who would come and play there. Every afternoon as they were coming from school, the children used to go and play in the giant's garden. It was a very large, lovely garden with soft green grass. Here and there over the grass stood beautiful flowers like stars, and there were 12 peach trees that in the springtime broke out into delicate blossom of pink and pearl, and in the autumn bore rich fruit. The birds sat on the trees and sang so sweetly that the children used to stop their games in order to listen to them. "How happy we are here," they cried to each other. So this is a very beautiful description of the giant's garden, that it has beautiful trees and flowers. There are 12 peach trees, and it had beautiful blossom pink flowers in springtime, and it gave a very rich fruit during autumn. And the children would say that how happy we are to be here in this garden. One day the giant came back. That means the giant was not around when the children were visiting his garden. He had been to visit his friend the Cornish ogre, and had stayed with him for 7 years. When he arrived, he saw the children playing in the garden. So it tells us that the giant was visiting one of his Cornish would be a giant of Cornwall. Okay, it is a place in UK, and ogre is legendary, and in legends and in fairy tales we hear about a cruel giant who eats people, and ugly, and a very dangerous person. We hear about all these in fairy tales. So the giant was visiting his friend, and when he returned, he saw the children, and he said, "What are you doing here?" he cried in a gruff voice, and the children ran away. Gruff means in a rough voice. So he asked the children, and the children, they ran away. "My own garden is my own garden is my own garden," said the giant. "Anyone can understand that, and I will allow nobody to play in it but myself." So he built a high wall all around it and put up a notice board, "Trespassers will be prosecuted." Okay, so here this particular lines, "my own garden is my own garden," it shows that the giant was very self-centered, very selfish. He says that nobody will play except me. I will enjoy the beauty of the garden. I will allow nobody to play in but myself. That is what the giant said, because he was a very selfish giant. And he put up a notice where it says "Trespassers will be prosecuted." Trespassers means those who enter without somebody's land without permission. Okay, you will see this board even now. Also you will see this board in some places where you need permission of the landowner or the property owner to enter their land or their property. Okay, and prosecuted means it will be tried in a court, or will be punished. So this is what the giant did, and he built up a high wall around it. He was a selfish giant. The poor children had nowhere to play. They tried to play on the road, but the road was very dusty and full of hard stones, and they did not like it. They used to wander round the high walls when their lessons were over and talk about the beautiful garden inside. "How happy we were there," they said to each other. Then the spring came, and all over the country there were little blossoms and little birds. Only in the garden of selfish giant, it was still winter. The birds did not care to sing in it, as there were no children, and the trees forgot to blossom. So in this we see that children. So in this we see that once the children were restricted, they were not allowed to enter the garden. They would play on the road, but the roads it was not a very suitable place for them to play. And they would say, they would talk about the garden. They will say that how happy we were when we were in the garden. They will always talk about the beautiful garden inside the wall. Then the spring came, and all over the country there was there were flowers and birds, but only in the garden of the selfish giant it was still winter. So what do we see in winter is, children, you must have noticed in winters, even in our own state also, in a particular region, in winters we don't have too much of a it is cold, and the trees, they don't bear flowers, and it is not as bright and beautiful as comparing to spring, right? So when the spring came, there was flowers and birds all around in the whole country, but except in the giant's garden, the birds will not sing, as there were no children, and the trees forgot to blossom. That means the trees forgot to bear flowers. Once a beautiful flower puts its head out from the grass, but when it saw the notice board, it was so sorry for the children that it slipped back into the ground again and went off to sleep. So this is what was happening in the giant's garden, that the spring refused to return to the giant's garden. The only people who were pleased were the snow and the frost. So in winters we have snow and frost. Okay, so the only people who were happy was snow and frost. Spring has forgotten this garden, they cried. So we will live here all the year around. The snow covered up the grass with her great white cloak, and the frost painted all trees silver. Then they invited the north wind to stay with them, and he came. He was wrapped in furs, and he roared all day about the garden and blew the chimney pots down. This is a delightful spot, he said. We must ask Hail on a visit. So the Hail came. Every day for 3 hours he rattled on the roof of the castle till he broke most of the slates, and then he ran round and round the garden as fast as he could. He was dressed in grey, and his breath was like ice. So this is a description of the giant's garden. Now all around the country there's there's spring, but the giant's garden still has winter, snow and frost and wind, north wind, and it has hail, and the place is not as beautiful. It is it is dark, and it is gray, and it is windy, and it is cold. Then giant would say, I cannot understand why the spring is so late in coming. The selfish giant said, as he sat at the window and looked out at his cold white garden. I hope there will be a change in the weather. Now the giant is thinking why there is the spring is not coming, because he did not go out of his wall, so he does not know that it is already a springtime, and outside his wall is beautiful spring everywhere. It is only in his garden that there is he still has winter. But the spring never came, nor the summer. The autumn gave golden fruit to every garden, but to giant's garden she gave none. He is too selfish, she said. So it was always winter there, and the north wind and the hail and the frost and the snow danced about through the trees. So we see here that spring came, spring came, and then the summer came, the autumn came, and it was all over the country. The autumn the trees would bear fruits, but in giant's garden there was no spring, no summer, no autumn, and it was winter throughout the year. And his garden, the giant's garden, had the north wind, the hail and the frost and the snow throughout the year. One morning, Giant was lying awake in bed when he heard some lovely music. It sounded so sweet to his ears that he thought it must be the king's musician passing by. It was really only a little linnet singing outside his window, but it was so long since he had heard a bird singing in his garden that it seemed to him to be the most beautiful music in the world. Then the hail stopped, dancing over his head, and the north wind ceased roaring, and a delicious perfume came to him through the open casement. "I believe the spring has come at last," the giant said, and he jumped out of his bed and looked out. So one day he heard a lovely music, and he thought that maybe it is the king musicians playing, they're passing by. But when he looked out, he saw a little linnet. It's a brownish songbird. It is a bird, okay. And he saw that, since he had not heard music, birds singing for a very long time, it sounded like the sweetest music he had ever heard. And suddenly the hail stopped, and the wind, north wind, stopped roaring, and he could smell a very beautiful, a very delicious perfume which is coming out from the casement. So he jumped out of his bed and he said, "Okay, now the spring is here." So this was part 1, and in part 1 we read about the description, how beautifully the giant's garden is described, and what did he do with the children, and what did he do to protect his garden. But what happened in return? He could not, spring did not visit him, autumn did not visit him, summer did not visit, and throughout the year he had winter in his garden. And then one day he heard a linnet singing, and when he looked out, he saw, the hail had stopped, the wind had stopped, and suddenly when he looked out, he saw a beautiful scene. We will read that in the part 2. Why is the giant called selfish? Because the giant is called selfish because he was not considerate about the children. He did not think about the children. He was thinking only about himself. He wanted to keep the garden only about to himself. So these are few question answers. I would want all of you to please go through it. We will discuss these question answers. I will share the answer keys in the Google Classroom. I would want all of you to please write these question answers. Okay. Now let us coming to part 2. I want to finish this reading and explanation of this lesson in this period. In part 2, we will see, to celebrate the return of the children, trees covered themselves with birds and blossoms. The giant was delighted to see his friends back, especially a little boy whom he loved dearly. The little boy soon disappeared, only to return much later. He saw a most beautiful sight. When he looked out of his window, he saw the most beautiful sight. Through a little hole in the wall, the children had crept in, and they were sitting in the branches of the trees. In every tree he could see there was a little child, and trees were so glad to have the children back again that they had covered themselves with blossoms and were waving their arms gently. So the spring, excuse me, wherever the children reached out, spring was coming back. Above the children's head, the birds were flying about and twittering with delight, and the flowers were looking up through the green grass and laughing. It was a lovely scene. Only in one corner it was winter. It was the farthest corner of the garden, and in it was standing a little boy. He was so small that he could not reach up to the branches of the trees, and he was wandering all around it, crying bitterly. The poor tree was still covered with frost and snow, and the north wind was blowing and roaring above it. "Climb up, little boy," said the tree, and it bent its branches down as low as it could, but the boy was too tiny. So this is a description in one corner of the garden. One particular boy, a tiny boy, was not able to climb the tree, and that particular tree still had winter and snow and frost, and the north wind was blowing. And the giant's heart melted as he looked. "How selfish I have been," he said. "Now I know why the spring would not come here. I will put that poor little boy on the top of the tree, and then I will knock down the wall, and my garden shall be children's playground forever and ever." He was really very sorry for what he had done. So we see that the giant is regretting his action, regretting what he did, and he wants to correct himself. He wants to undo the wrong he did. So So he's repenting for his mistake, what the mistake he did, and he realized why the spring would not visit his garden, and he decides that I'm going to put up that boy in the tree, and then I will knock down the wall, and the children, it can be my children playground forever and ever. This is what he decides. So he crept downstairs and opened the front door quietly, softly, and went out into the garden. But when the children saw him, they were so frightened that they all ran away, and the garden became winter again. So as soon as the children, they saw the giant, they ran away, and the winter took over the garden again. Only the little boy did not run, for his eyes were so full of tears that he did not see the giant coming. The children were still very scared of the giant. The giant stole up behind him and took him gently in his hands and put him up into the tree. And the tree broke at once into blossoms, and the birds came and sang on it. And the little boy stretched out his 2 arms and flung them around the giant's neck and kissed him. So this is the first meeting of the giant with the little boy. Now in this lesson, these 2 particular characters are very important, the giant and the little boy. Okay, so please pay attention to the meeting of the giant and the little boy. So this was his first meeting. And the other children and the other children, when they saw that the giant was not wicked any longer, came running back, and with them came the spring. It is your garden now, little children, said the giant, and he took a great axe and knocked down the wall. And when the people were going to the market at 12 o'clock, they found the giant playing with the children in the most beautiful garden they had ever seen. So the people could also see the giant's beautiful garden, and they saw that the giant was playing with them. All day long they played, and in the evening they came to the giant to bid him goodbye. But where is your little companion? He said. The boy I put into the tree. The giant loved him the best because he had kissed him. So now this little boy did not return after that day. So the giant asked the children that where is that little boy? We don't know, answered the children. He has gone away. You must tell him to be sure and come tomorrow, said the giant. But the children said that they did not know where he lived and had never seen him before, and the giant felt very sad. Now the giant had particularly, he cared about that small boy because that small little boy had kissed him. So he was very sad to know that he is not coming back, and these children don't know where he lives. So every afternoon when school was over, the children came and played with the giant, but the little boy whom the giant loved was never seen again. The giant was very kind to all the children, yet he longed for his little friend and often spoke of him. How I would like to see him, he used to say. Years went by, and the giant grew very old and feeble. Weak. Feeble means weak. He could not play about anymore, so he sat in a huge armchair and watched the children at their games and admired their games, his garden. I have many beautiful flowers, he said, but the children are the most beautiful flowers of all. One winter morning, he looked out of his window as he was dressing, and he did not hate the winter now, for he knew that it was merely the spring asleep and the flowers were resting. Suddenly he rubbed his eyes in wonder and looked and looked. It certainly was a marvelous sight. In the farthest corner of the garden was a tree quite covered with lovely white blossoms. Its branches were golden, and the silver fruit hung down from them, and underneath it stood the little boy he loved. Downstairs ran the giant in great joy and out into the garden. He hastened across the grass and came near to the child, and when he came quite close, his face grew red with anger, and he said, "Who had dared to wound thee?" That means who dared to wound you? For on the palms of the palms, that means the palms of the child hands were the prints of 2 nails, and the prints of 2 nails were on the little feet. Okay, this is a very important line description of the child. The second time second meeting of the child, little boy, with the giant. Who hath dared to wound thee? That he says that, who dared to wound you? Tell me, I will take my big sword and slay him. That means I will kill him. Nay, answered the child, but these are the wounds of love. Who art thou? Who art thou? This is Old English, okay? Who art thou? That thou is you. Who are you? Said the giant. And a strange awe fell on him, and he knelt before the child, little child. And the child smiled on the giant and said to him, You let me play once in your garden. Today you shall come with me to my garden, which is paradise. And when the children ran in that afternoon, they found the giant lying dead under the tree, all covered with white blossoms. So this is the story. Here we see. Now about this particular characters, the little boy. We see that the description is, in the descriptions we see that the child had palms, they were prints of nails in his palm and prints of nails on his little feet. And this little child, he says that, I have come to take you today. You shall come with me, and you will be with me in my garden, which is paradise. So in this story, Oscar Wilde has the little boy, the character of a little boy is Christ, child Christ. Okay, he is child Christ, and as per the Bible, Jesus Christ was crucified, and nail was put in his palm and his feet. So that signifies the print of nail in his palm, and nail signifies that he is the child Christ, and he has come to take the giant with him to his paradise. So this is the end of the lesson, children. I hope you all have enjoyed the reading the lesson. It's a beautiful lesson. Please go through the story and read it. And there's some question answers given. Please write the question answers in your copy. I will share the answer keys in the Google Classroom. I will not share the whole answers. I will share only the answer keys in your in the Google Classroom. If you have any doubt, any confusion, you can please let me know. Thank you.